So, welcome guys to Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. Like I said before, this is a Power Rangers themed fighting game. And from the last time I remember, it was pretty simple. The combo system was pretty minimal. So the combos were kind of short strings, similar to like older like Mortal Kombat or even Tekken, sorta. And one of the things I want to first point out is they've added 3 new characters to this update to the game. They've added Cenozoic Blue. Now, of course, here's the thing for anyone who may know me or what I do. I don't watch, or I haven't watched the Power Rangers. I personally don't enjoy the Power Rangers. They're not like a prime thing I would stop my day and watch. So a lot of these characters I have to go by face value, who they are versus what they do within the show. So I don't know anybody except maybe the definitive original characters like the Pink Ranger, Red Ranger, Green Ranger. You know, some of the major villains of the series, that thing. But pay that no matter, because that's not the point. Today we're going to be looking at this from an open mind perspective to see what I think about the game as it is now. They've also added Udona. Now I don't know if Udona is a villain character in the Power Rangers universe, because Udona looks like a Power Ranger, but I'm not 100% certain on that. And then there's Dragon Armor Trini. Now again, this seems like something above. I haven't tried any of the new characters, and I haven't played the game since a month. So I actually have pretty much no memory recollection of how this game works. So we will see how this works. I want to go ahead and kind of warm up with with a little bit of a training mode session to kind of get the feel for the game. Now, so let's give some of these new characters a try, out of just as a general variant. So, from what I remember, Udona was a magic-based character, though did use the staff for physical damage. So let's try out Udona. Yeah, we'll go the black variant. Why not? I was a fan of Mannix quite a bit with the previous look, so let's have a look. Let's give Cat another shot. And they they added voiceovers finally. Well, ain't that a surprising touch? Well, see, here's the thing. When I first looked at this game the first time, just as a fun little look at the game, I will say that they had no voiceovers, so I couldn't really judge the game other than what it was. So let's go traditional Red Ranger, I guess. And by the way, almost no one has a secondary skin in this game yet, to my knowledge. I believe the Red Ranger had one and the Pink Ranger had one. That was about it. And I'm just going to randomize the rest of this because I want it to be kind of random. Alright, so let's see. What have they added since the last time we played this? Corinth and Planet Earth Cenozoic era. I also like how now, for some, they've been making this game a little better with the updates, it seems, because previously, if you went to Harwood County, it didn't tell you what story it came from. So now we can see in Harwood County it came from the Super Mega Force series. Mystic Force came from the Mystic Force. So they are throwing nods back to the origins of the areas and the characters, which I do appreciate. let's just go Corinth, I guess. So, I'm not very good at fighting games, so if I look like I'm doing kind of rough with the combos, I somewhat probably likely will. Alright, so... yeah, so mostly staff. Okay. Okay, yep, so this one definitely is more like a magic-based entity with some type of physical attack. And like, it has like an ice projection shield of some type. That's interesting. Alright, so that's interesting. Wasn't what I want to do, but okay. There's a way to swap characters. Trying to remember how to do a character swap. Oh! So she's basically Sub-Zero. Now, for those curious, don't think I'm saying like, oh, Sub-Zero is like a non-reference. Like, the whole magical energy ball thing that freezes you, good combo potential, but again, it's one of those, like... Alright, so that's how you do... I'm trying to remember how you... Okay. That's what I thought. So it's like... so it's whatever button you were pressing to transfer, that's how you do it. So the combo systems definitely, like I said, it's very simple with this game from what I can see. I definitely think it's a little, it's not too simple, but it's simple enough that a new player into the fighting game genre who likes Power Rangers could easily get into it. And it also seems like they've kind of done... Alright. Alright, so... just off of what I've done with just like a practice round, I like the fact they've given the characters voices finally. I think that was something I had a big complaint about when I did my first kind of look at stream with this game. And I really like the fact they did that. I still wish there was a little more soundtrack variance. I don't think the soundtrack is its strongest element yet. But again, we haven't looked at the story mode, nor have we looked at the changes to like the ranked at all. So, like I said, I'm not gonna hold anything to the game until I've actually had the time to settle in with it and something of that nature. So we're gonna definitely try and sit down and do that. I'm gonna lower the volume a little bit because I think it's a little too loud. Let me know if this is too loud or too soft. The only reason I'm lowering it is because I don't want it to be too loud with the recording software and everything. I also like that they give a pretty decent in the training mode they give a pretty decent amount of like settings you can play with. Like, you can change the controls like most fighting games. And I think that is actually really nice. You know, very general move list. Like I said, it's a very, very simple fighting game. It doesn't have like Mortal Kombat style constant crazy chain of command combos. So you could easily look here as an example and see what buttons do what. It's not going to really confuse a new player or someone who doesn't play fighting games very often. I am going back to the main menu though, so we can actually do a So I'm going to go ahead and I want to see the story. This was the big sort of wow factor that this game that they added with this that they actually added with the update. And supposedly this is what was the major element that was bringing a lot of the newer characters into the storyline. So again, I've never played any. I don't know Power Rangers lore too much. I think the story mode's only something like 12 chapters or something like that. I'm not gonna play the entire story because I don't want to play through the entirety of it. But I do want to have a look at it because story modes are kind of like a big seller for me on fighting games personally, and I would like to be able to judge the story mode as for fairity purposes. So it looks like the story goes in acts. Act 1 and Act 2. Alright, so it looks like it's a pretty short, maybe 12-chapter story prologue, with 2 different sets of acts, a prologue and an ending act. This should be interesting because I actually know nothing about Power Ranger lore, and I don't know what to expect from a story about Power Rangers. So maybe it'll surprise me. Chapter loading. I will say load times have gotten a little better with this since the last time I played it.
Zordon is gone. The Rangers and their last stand have been crushed. You've taken the white light for yourself. This is a big day, Lord Draken. Made me very proud.
Thank you, Empress.
And yet, for all that we have accomplished, you don't seem pleased.
I've had a lot on my mind.
Tell me, child, what troubles you?
Zordon chose children for a reason. Their hope, their optimism, but also their naivete, their ability to be controlled. Eventually, though, every child realizes the truth. That their parents, for all their strengths, are incredibly flawed. That they have feet of clay. That in many ways, they hold us back. Eventually, every child realizes they must grow up.
Impossible.
You gave me these powers, Briss. It's only fitting they'd be your end. Rest now. Your time is done. I will continue what we have started.
Alright, so immediate initial thoughts off of that first cutscene. Voice acting really is spot on. I'm assuming from what I've read online that the voice actors are the original voice actors from the characters years ago, which is interesting. So what's the word, Jason? I need to move my characters. Give me 1 second. I didn't realize they were going to be such a thorn with imagery today. If it doesn't let me. Alright, we'll deal with them later. Anyway, I'll call me impressed. That was pretty good. And I'm not sure how... If you got the time. This was light combat. Alright, so they do have voice acting, which is something the characters didn't have prior, if I remember right. Now, I can't say that for sure because I don't really remember. I'd have to look at pre-update 1 footage to tell you, which unfortunately I have no access to. I lost that footage some time ago. But, yeah. So, I'll be honest, I'm already kind of like... I kind of think the game's already got a huge better... These are definitely a big update from the previous... from the previous look at when I first looked at the game, because it looks like they've actually gone and done some updates that I was really wanting. Voice acting, a story mode thing, something that would kind of cement the game with a legacy to it. And I think they did it pretty well here. So far I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty Tommy Oliver. Really? Start without me. Australian doubles, you two against me. So, alright, so now I do like how in the story mode, because it seems like in the story mode they may change, well, it looks like in the story mode, they, within the story, you're not always playing the same character every chapter. You are swapping the character out in the chapter, which is interesting. I'm not really a fan of... Alright, so here's the thing. A lot of Power Rangers characters, in my opinion, have always been sort of like this whole brutal melee type with swords and that. And while I don't think that's completely the case here, it definitely shows, like, if you look at Tommy versus this character, as an example, they feel pretty much the same, except for maybe some changes to their moveset, with the melee scope of their characters and everything. And maybe that's just because I play a lot of games like that have that same feature. But I don't see a lot of character originality. I guess once you get into the special movesets, that would probably change, obviously. Okay, game. I don't know. And the only thing, there is something I want to say I've noticed with this. There's a fair bit of inconsistency with the voice acting. Now, before anyone says, before I know a lot of people might get in the case saying, okay, well, voice acting isn't always perfect, and it was made on the Unity engine, which means it wasn't really like, it didn't really have it may not have had the same capabilities as other fighting games. My big concern there is, if you're gonna voice act a game, it needs to be done really well. Like, really, really well. And I don't think, and I'm not saying the voice acting in some points in this game is not good. By all means, some of it's was really, really solid. Okay. I... What is... Okay, I don't know who that is. Coins. Oh, hey, it's Lord Draken. So, from all I know, Lord Draken's supposed to be like the Red Ranger if he was after he was mind controlled by the main villain of the series at one point and never recovered. No, I was trying to find it was Tommy. Okay. So it looks like that. So it looks like Draken is Tommy after mind control. I guess, from what I can tell. Yes, my lord. Okay, so they've added some intros to the. I do see that they've added some like intros to the game, which is interesting. Again, why they gave me her of all characters to do this fight, I will not know. So I'm not a fan of the Pink Rangers, you probably can tell, and it looks like they haven't really fixed the Mammoth Ranger yet. When I was talking to some people when I played the game last time on the channel, just to look at it, we all noted that the Mammoth Ranger had this really stupid AoE bomb, and it really kind of was bad because it was really powerful for no reason. Yes, the only thing I know how to do with her is basically kick somebody in the face. That's about all I know how to do with her. Neutral special, forward special, back special. Yeah, this is the only thing I really don't like about playing the Pink Ranger. You would think I would like the Pink Ranger because it's the Pink Ranger, and I really don't. And the little I've watched this series, I actually liked the actor for the Pink Ranger way back when the day. But now, no, I can't say that. Now, the only problem is this is going to have full health where the other one did not. So I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this. Yeah, see, this is what I was worried about. So basically, if you notice something the Mammoth Dude can do that I can't, which is what's kind of the annoying part about the whole situation, is basically the whole idea is he can lay this grenade down, and that grenade basically does a lot of damage. Come on. Alright. I hate having to do that, and that was kind of bad. I'm not a fan of that. But you know what? It's fine.
Tommy! Whoever you are, get away from him!
It's far too late for that. The crystal feeds on green chaos. His death is already underway. There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Who are you? No time! Start firing! Destroy that crystal and keep it from leaving!
No. Not yet. Too close.
Alright.
Tommy! Tommy, it's gonna be okay. Please, just stay with me.
It's okay, Kim. It's okay. Everything's gonna be okay.
Tommy, wake up! You have to wake up! He's not breathing. There's no pulse. Help! We need help! Don't die. You can't die. Please. Oh my God, Tommy!
Okay, so I'm gonna try and make some logical sense out of this. Like I said, I'm not doing the entire story mode because I don't want to. I'm not gonna try and review the entire story.
To all those who will hear these words, my name is DarkLunarDude. I come to you from across the grid with a warning. A great threat is upon us. His name is Lord Draken, and his arms are known. With his newly charged Chaos Crystal, Lord Draken is able to move his forces across time and space. He found a way to target rangers. The black dragon cannons are designed to disrupt all connections to the world. However, his true desire is to steal mortals. With them, he will attempt to conquer existence. In this time of chaos, we must stand firm and, if possible, come to each other. Defend your worlds. Protect yourselves and your mortals at all costs. And may the power protect you all.
Okay, okay. So let me get a sort of let me get an update. Let me see if I can understand this. Draken essentially wants the power of the Morphers to become stronger and use the powers of the Morphers to take over all the Power Rangers timelines, aka what it's called, aka the grid. Now, as someone who doesn't understand Power Rangers lore, and again, I'm going to be honest with you, it's just not my thing. I will say that, okay, you have my interest. A war on your own people with cross-dimensional battles, cool. You know, that sounds interesting to me. I don't mind that. I think that's actually very good in some degree. However, I'm not really sure, because it definitely seems like Draken knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants, and he seems to be actually sort of like a true villain to this game. I'm assuming that there's more to this, to more villains they'll be adding in later down the road as characters, obviously. But if I'm going off the story mode, Draken seems to be pretty fitting. Alright, so now we're being interested in Udona. Now, I don't know who Udona is, so if anyone actually has to know who Udona is, please go ahead and let me know in the chat. I'm actually pretty curious. Oh, I guess that alternate voice lines. Huh, ain't that nice. See, that's the one I mean. If you put a ranger with a with melee versus a gunner, it works out way more often than it does anything else. This is a battle I don't mind. I actually like this battle because it proves the point I've always had with fighting games. That if you put a character that has the same type of combat style in there against another, it doesn't work all the time. The combos are pretty simple. So Udona's pretty good. I like Udona. Goldar. Okay, this is the Mystic Forest. Okay, I don't know what version of Power Rangers Mystic Forest comes from, so with the power of snow. Okay. And now you're playing Goldar. So this is the point I want to bring. This is the one I'm going to bring up. Goldar is a little different because Goldar is sort of a villain character. And I like that they don't just stick to hero characters in the story mode. You can play both hero and villain equally. At least to what it looks like from here. Now, I don't know if I finish the whole story on the stream, which I'm not, obviously I don't want to be... Wow, this story is, I don't know. I'm already in chapter 4, and it feels a little small. And with video reviews of this, I'm not huge fan of doing complete story modes. I mean, I can. Gia. Who's Gia? Alright, now we have a Yellow Ranger of some varier. I'm not really sure. So why do alright, so why do we both have access to Goldar? If Goldar's supposed to be the enemy of the Rangers, why is it a Yellow Ranger using the Goldar? Yeah, by the way, the Megazords are kind of like a crutch, and I don't mean that in, like, the bad way. They're not, like, a complete another crutch, but they are one of those things I really don't prefer. Like, I think they're kind of like that cheap knockoff power fantasy setup you can use. Alright, come on. Oh, yeah, swap them out the last second. Holy crap, these are actually going to beat me. Holy crapola. Okay. The AI does not seem to want to be, Okay. So I thought I was guarding that. Apparently I wasn't. And they seem to want to punch a lot. Like I said, I'm not really good at fighting games, and that's completely true. So I don't expect every fight to go perfectly. In fact, I expect to lose more often than not, so... So the fact that she has both a sword and a gun makes her kind of a weird split combo, in which I'm not really sure what the intent of her character is with that situation in total. Like this one here. This dude right here is the point I want to point out. If you're going melee toe to toe with him, or anything like that, it seems like... Okay. I will say, though, I do like that the health system, if you have the ability to swap out and recover, does allow you that option. So you're not completely left in the void if you do fall into that area. I don't like that you have to kind of go into crouching combos to do all your stuff with this character, though. I think it's kind of weird. Like, in order to kill these enemies, I really think it feels like you actually have to crouch more often than not, which maybe that's intentional. So, story mode so far is kind of, alright. Oh no. Please no. Why the Pink Ranger every freaking time? And yes, by the way, I am going to go and call her the Pink Ranger because... Alright, I'm just getting stomped to the ground. But because of it, apparently I have 3 lives. See, if they're a Ranger, I think it was like a Megazord or something. Because there's 2 Megazord options in the setup. But, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Alright, so I'm finally figuring out some combos with her. Some being the very real minute of few. Like, I'm not really good with her bow yet, I think. it's mostly a dive upkick combo. But I do like the Pink Ranger does have some combo variation in the air, where some of the other characters don't even have that. Now, the only thing I'll say is, if I'm doing the full story mode on stream, I definitely want to check out some of the other variety options that are in this game. It definitely seems like her kick attack is one of her strongest attacks for some unforeseen reason. Maybe it's just pterodactyl. Okay. Catman X. Alright, now my favorite character comes into play. Oh no. Catman X is interesting. I actually really prefer Cat. I like how they use him right away. I don't know why, like, they're afraid. Yeah, but this is... The Mammoth Soldiers are kind of one of the annoying characters you can play as in the game. Because a lot of people figured out you can use, from what I remember, you can use a lot of their bomb techniques to basically just curb stomp people to the ground early. And honestly, it's not bad if for a playstyle. I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't think it's the best playstyle the game has to offer. And yeah, my fighting style with a lot of these games will always differ. Like in Mortal Kombat 11 as an example, I play a lot of like Jade and Melina, Frost, Noob Saibot, stuff like that. Which I used to consider similar playstyles to some of the characters in this game. Okay. What? Alright, so my question, unfortunately, boils down to if he's contacted every ranger across the grid during the Lord Harkon attacks, how do they know, other than my logos on their uniforms, what world they come from? Because Gaia Morin, who obviously comes from a different, a more modern Power Ranger, knows who an SPD Ranger is. Orange. Oh, was orange not a normal color? I don't know. Like I said, if I knew more about the story, I'd probably be a little more... And now you're playing as the villain, which is kind of weird. But okay, I'm not going to say anything about it. Yeah, Cat's got some really good combos. The reason I really like Cat. A combo-heavy Ranger's character's kind of always been my favorite. And even though the combo system in this game is very small and light, and I will say that openly about this game, because I'm, like I said, I'm trying to be a little more open about the mechanics as I play. I think once you played a couple of matches, you kind of start figuring how to do combos better with certain characters. But I think you have to kind of sit down and play the character a little more to really make that function work. Like, I don't know much about this character, so I'm not going to do a lot of combos. But Cat, I could do a good combo very easily. That, and it doesn't seem like... It looks like they're trying to balance out the characters slowly, which I think they need to do. Yeah, last-ditch effort to try and... So that's what I'm saying. The Megazord button or summon is a crutch a little bit. And I'm not a fan of that, but... Anubis Kruger? I'm assuming he's gonna the Anubis Kruger's gonna be another character in the future. So it's like Anubis Kruger seems like a character that haven't added to the game yet, but he does have a model, so I'm assuming they will be added in later. Magnum Defender. I can't even hear that person. I couldn't even hear him. Like, that's what I'm talking about. There's an issue that this game seems to have, and I'm not sure how to really explain it. It's like if you listen to certain sound clips, they feel very... They almost feel like different quality. Like some were recorded in like a professional studio, and others were not. And maybe it was just the way that the setup is done, but it just doesn't feel very well done in that sense. Maybe that's my biggest issue with this game, is just that sound issue. Oh no, please don't tell me to play as the... I'm not gonna enjoy this, because now I gotta play the Mastodon. Okay, is there a button to trigger the... Okay, I'm not... Okay, so this dude has the ability to shoot. There it is, okay. So it's a certain button comment used to do that. But this dude's being pretty up all melee, so it's kind of hard to make those shots count, I think. It is interesting though. Like, I'm not a fan of the Mastodon character in the slightest, because I don't think that they're tunnel soldiers. Essentially, what they are. They're simply soldier characters, and I'm not really. I mean, there's the fighter. I'm not gonna say they're bad. But I'm just not, that's just not my thing. They do have some good mobility, though, which is kind of different than the other character, which I will say I do like. That mobility gives them a little more variance in their playstyle. Like, they can kind of be a little more passive-aggressive versus other characters that maybe aren't. Ancient Terror. Yeah, like, I'm only done, what, maybe 20-30 minutes of the story mode so far? Maybe 40? At best. Alright, this one's kind of interesting. What is this guy? Okay, okay, so first off, I want to talk about this guy. Interesting about him is that he's sort of like, he's got more like, I don't know if the Cryzona characters are supposed to be like, fist fighters, but he definitely seems more like a Gara or a Rock Lee. You know, like a character you would use to honestly be more likely to use their fist in a fighting scene, which is interesting. He definitely is a good mix-up to what the variety is in this game. The story mode definitely gives you what I think is the best variety of characters to kind of figure out your playstyle. So I will say story mode has done one thing that makes me pretty interested. Now the only thing regarding that though is that if you fall into a character you're not good with, you're going to have issues. This world is known to the life forms capable of intelligent communication and access the grid. What are you? Efficient. I don't know. This is gonna be a toughie because I really prefer that dude. And he has his weapon. He's mostly a fist fighter, which is interesting. I will say though, I will point out for curiosity's sake, if anyone is just coming in, that I'm definitely a little more. That I think the combat is, for as simple as it is effective in its own right. So I think it does work. And for considering this game was a Unity game, I will say that it does have it does kind of show. But that Unity element really it doesn't affect it too much. I'm already down a full bar and a half, and I can't even do much to this dude. This is what I was talking about. Like sometimes it feels like you have to be cheap with certain characters to make their movesets effective. Kind of an issue, honestly, in my opinion. But yeah, if anyone has any any Power Rangers little tidbits or something they want to put into the chat or stuff like that, please let me know. I would love to actually bring those up because I am interested in some of the lore behind this, what I'm seeing so far. Obviously, this game wasn't obviously, of course, this wasn't designed by the original Power Ranger creator, I would imagine. So I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a lore efficiency to deal with. What? Oh no! Really? Yeah, it's always these fights that get me. See, the problem I don't like with the Ranger Slayer, for those curious, is I'm not a fan of the Ranger Slayer's reliance on the bow, where something like Kat, where yeah, she has mostly melee attacks, it feels better for her. Now I'm just going to try what I did previously and see if I can do it that way. Unlikely to work, but we'll give it a shot. Because I really, like I said, my fighting game skills are pretty much on the bad end. I'm not a fighting game player. Even on MK11, I have to use the AI assist pretty often. Yeah, the only thing about Harem's special move I don't really like is it's very much it's very much a matter of positioning. If you position well and can use it, good, go for it. If not, you're really kind of just stuck. Now, I imagine if I tried to do online, the Cryozoic Blue is going to pretty much show up there all the time. Because he seems really, really powerful against most Rangers. Or characters in this game. I also kind of wish that maybe they had considered making a chapter per each character versus doing the ability this have a setup. And I'm not saying that out of ill will to the game, because I think the game itself is pretty solid. It has I think the fighting, I like the fact they try and vary up the characters as you play through, so you're learning about the different characters of each world. So it's not like you're playing the same character over and over again. Alright, so he even has a blast attack. I won't say a Kamehameha like Dragon Ball Z, but it's pretty similar to that. Which is interesting. Come on. I'm trying to be a little more defensive in this fight now because I don't want to be like... I don't want to lose. I want to move forward. Yeah, Cat's special moves are pretty solid though. Like this character has some pretty solid special moves. Kimberly Hart, yep. But you wouldn't. Yeah, do you see what I mean? But if you're on... Like, if you're on one side, it feels like... Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Red Ranger for this if I can, because I really feel like Red Ranger's gonna be a lot better against the Ranger Slayer than anybody else in this entire matchup. Unless I'm gonna start getting my butt beaten, then I have to swap back out to heal. But you know, I'm gonna try not to, obviously. I like the Red Ranger in this game because I think, you know, as a melee character, I think it kind of functions well for him. Yeah, and that and his moves have some pretty good direct contact. So if he gets into an out of range situation, it works for him. Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just fought myself.
We have a situation. The domed city of Corinth, home of the RPM Rangers. The Rangers' leader, Dr. K, has found a way to neutralize the dragon cannons.
What? Jen, if we could stop their cannons, the sentries wouldn't be able to warp our powers. This is huge.
Yes, but the city's under siege. The Space Patrol Delta Rangers and the RPM Rangers are doing their best to hold off Draken's forces, but there's a 10-mile no-teleportation zone. We can't get Dr. K or her tech out. And ever since Zordon sent out his message, I've been getting energy pings from Rangers in other eras, survivors of Draken's attacks.
Jason, I know Corinth is important, but if there are Ranger survivors out there...
Alright, here's what we're gonna do. Lauren and I will head to Corinth and work on getting Dr. K to safety. Jen, you and Kim pick up whatever Rangers you can. Make sure you take Trini. She's been working on some new armor upgrades that may come in handy. Everyone stay in touch, and we'll rendezvous back at the command center.
Got it.
Alright. I like the little story elements where I actually can understand they're talking, though. I think that's actually pretty solid. Yeah, like I said, this is kind of a short story. I mean, we're about halfway through it, so maybe it's longer towards the end, like some fighting games do. Alright, I have not played the... Alright, this dude I have not played yet, so I have no idea what he does other than bash people's skulls in, looks like. And since it looks like it's another version of Jen, the Pink Ranger, I don't think I want to play that too much. I will say he does have an interesting playstyle, though, if nothing else. This is the Elite Ranger, right? It is. Okay, that's why he has two. That makes total sense. I don't know. Okay, so if anyone knows who this character is supposed to be and what their point, because it looks like it's just like a giant dragon in a like a giant mechanical dragon. Like, is there supposed to be a point to this character other than being in like a giant mech suit? That's what it feels like. Now, maybe I said I could be wrong, and if I am, by all means... Wait, it's a knockback move? Oh, no. Alright, let's try this. Ah, joy. You... I hate these dudes. I hate these dudes. Yeah, once this dude's getting into a corner, it's not even like a fair... Okay, I don't know why these guys have a knockback to swap the character, but everybody else does not. That doesn't make much sense to me. And is that an online move specific? If that is, that's kind of really stupid. Like I said, I don't know. If I check out the online today to see if the online is any better for the final kind of video look of the game, we'll see. I hope not, because I know a lot of people, when I was playing it on just the look, the previous look, were cheesing this character a lot. And I mean a lot of cheese was, you know, the Sentry characters. I mean, you only had like 9 characters to play with, so I guess kind of made sense. See, I love the classic pink costume. I think that works. You are a guy. I guess that makes sense. So, I'm a bigger fan of this character than I am of most characters in this game. Even though they are a bit clunkier and they feel more like the super lead head characters, but they have stronger attacks because of that. Like, if you feel like, when I'm playing the character, I feel like they're definitely stronger than their characters. But I feel also like that being stronger doesn't help them too much because they're slower, and that slowness really kind of offsets them too much. Switch over to Pink Ranger temporarily, let him recover. Even though I'm not a fan of finding Gul'dan as ranged. At all. I think it's not really. I mean, I'll be honest. So far, the game is actually decent. It's good in a sense. It's not like what I would call a great fighting game, but it definitely has its moments that it does have some stuff that makes the game kind of not a one-trick pony. So everybody does a knockback move. Well, at least in this game, at least in the story mode, it does, it seems. Alright, activate some of a special power move or mode or something. Okay, so you can aim the bow shot forward, it seems like. I'm just gonna figure out what the pattern is for, and I could do it. And it seems like the story mode may be the only way to unlock the Pink Ranger's costume. And when I previously played the game, I didn't know if it was it didn't make sense how you didn't have it unlocked by default. Uh-oh. Oh, what? Alright, well, because she's the magic character, I will say that this is probably not a tough fight. I will say, though, I'm not a huge... At least AI has a good defense in this game. Since you can't choose an AI difficulty when you're playing this, and I definitely think that's kind of something I wish they would have added. Like someone like me, I would have appreciated like even like a beginner mode to learn the combo mechanics. And I guess tutorial system is there for that, and I'll check that out. And I kind of played around with that the last time I did the look of the game, but. Okay. Oh, elite units. So, it seems like this character here, Udona or whatever her name is just flat out really, really powerful. And maybe just because she has good magic and combos within her kit that make her that way. But it's like, I don't even really see it. Like, whenever I've played her in the story mode so far, it seems like she's always been sort of a strong counterpick to most players. So maybe that's different inside of the online, obviously. But here, when they do at her, it feels kind of like, the easy button when it comes to this game. I mean, I'm fine with that. An easy button's not an issue with me. It's just I don't want the game to feel like it's easy on purpose. I also wonder, since technically they've added the story mode now, if they add future characters, are they going to be more of a select variety of character? That's not going to be dedicated directly to the story, but will tie in with the same universe. If they do that, that'd be interesting. Road to Corinth. Yeah, sorry, it's a little hot in this room today.
The process will not be easy, nor will it be pleasant. Yes, I've heard your warnings, Mr. Five. But the risk is worth the reward.
My lord, if I may, I look around and I see but a handful of the morphers we brought back for you.
Ah, yes. Well, you see, each ranger team accesses the morphin grid in a slightly different way. For our purposes, we will only require one morpher per team. In fact, utilizing any more will become incredibly unstable.
That would have been good to know before my forces risk their lives targeting entire teams.
Enough. Fewer morphers means fewer rangers to oppose us. I'm ready, Fenster 5. Take me one step closer to my destiny.
Yes,
Okay.
my lord.
Remarkable. I can feel the strength coursing through me.
Glorious. Simply glorious.
How long until the next transfer?
A day at most. In the meantime, there is a situation in Corinth that requires your attention, my lord. The dragon cannons are on the verge of being compromised.
Then perhaps it's time for more specific reinforcements.
Keep targeting rangers. Return with all the morphers you can.
My future depends on it.
Of course, my lord.
You can tell she's sort of having this little regret on her back of her mind. Sort of. Not to a degree, at least. Oh, come on. Right into an elite battle? Yay, these are the ones I don't like to fight. I now understand the color variances, though, to some degree. Like, there's a dark variant and a light variant because there's a dark version of the character and a light version of the character. Especially in the Mastodons. Which is interesting in that sense. I hate these characters! Yeah, see, I can't even get close to him at this point because they know... because it's the elite situation. I was hoping to stay with Jason there, but okay, whatever, game. Okay, that's fine. I can do that. Now, the only problem is, again, I'm using a melee against a ranged character, which is, as I stated before, I feel like it doesn't work. This fight's almost completely nearly unwinnable in that sense. Oh, he's back. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, this is going to be a super annoying situation. Like I said, some of these moves are not really as powerful as they look. Like, and that's part of the thing. The reason I'm not. I wish they had maybe given an option for like a difficulty setting in the modes, because I kind of wish they had actually had one. Okay, come on. No. Where'd the grab come from there? That's my question. Alright, we'll go with this then. See, if you're doing mostly downward strikes, they don't seem to be able to hit you. From what I can tell. Yeah, see, that's the one of the rare occasions where they could get me off the ground. That wasn't fair, but okay, whatever. Alright, so I don't want to go any further in the story because I don't want to kind of spoil, like, an ending to it. I do think that the story seems pretty short, though. I mean, in the midst of what seemed like in the midst of a little over an hour of gameplay in the story mode, I got up to chapter 8 of 12. To me, that seems a little on the short side. And maybe it's just because of that I think it's a little short. But I did want to check the story mode a little bit before I went too far. No, I want to check something real quick. I will say, though, I do like that the achievements in this game, because I haven't talked about this yet, are pretty simple, are easier to get. Like, example, if you really want to go for it, win 500 ranked games. Okay. If you play enough ranked, probably you could do that. And that'd be fine. And a lot of it does seem to be focused around... Hey, Draw. How you doing, man? Yeah, Draw, we were just doing a little bit of a checkout of, of the story mode for for the Battle of the Grid, plus doing a little bit of a VOD for the plus doing a video review for the game. To check it out. I wanted to check out the story though, because the story was the most recent addition to the game, and I wanted to see what it was first. It definitely seemed. What is it? All right, I'm confused. What is it? So, I'm thinking I'm probably gonna try a little bit of a warm up with characters to figure out what characters I really enjoy playing. And guys, if you don't know who Drawl is the founder of TDM, one of my best friends. So yeah, it's because of him I get to do a lot of this. So I'm really happy I get to do that. So here, I guess, because I'm on my account, not yours. So any pre-qualification matches were done on yours. So. So, Draw, just a question. Do you know anything about Power Rangers lore? Or much of anything? Because I'm not going to say I'm lost with this. But I definitely feel like some of the stuff goes over my head a little bit. And something I haven't really pointed out yet, but I'm going to bring it up here because I think it's kind of interesting, is if you look at the character selection from the game, they pull very heavily from the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for, I want to say something like almost at least 50 to 60% of the cast right now, and then they move into certain other series like Mystic Force, the original, I guess the remake Power Rangers done by Saban, whatever his name is, and then you go into a couple offshoots like Galaxy, SPD, and Super Mega Force. Maybe this is just because. And obviously the story mode shows some characters that aren't playable yet. Like there was another SPD character that was shown in story mode that I saw. So I am curious to see when he gets added into the game how he'll spice up the game, how that'll spice up the character selection. For me at least. Because the character selection right now for me feels very, very oriented towards the older audience of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I just feel like a little more variety would be nice in some of the other Rangers from previous sections. Yeah, SPD so far has been probably my favorite out of the characters that are in this game Draw. Cat probably instantly became one of my favorite playstyles because I like the tooth to claw playstyle Cat offers in this game at least. I'll say if I had a secondary right now it's Udona. I think the magic, the staff with the magic element is just really, really nice. Even though Dragon Armor Trini actually has a pretty solid follow-up, and maybe Cenozoic Blue, because I like the whole fist-style combat that seems to be more powered by the player's combo ability. So, hey, I mean, there are probably some characters are probably just as good, and I haven't really played them, but I'll say Ranger Slayer is probably the toughest to play. For me. because the bow combos mixed in with the melee make her one of the harder characters to get down with. And if you just want to use the game, there's still a Mastodon Sentry. Like, no joke, Mastodon Sentry is just gonna drop the Mastodon, the little trigger bomb, and just watch the magic work. I will admit that is probably something I've noticed a lot with this game, is a lot of it boils down to how much you can... Go here. Now the first... Yeah, same as was last time. Interesting. But yeah, so I like the story. The game itself is good to a degree. It's definitely not a great fighting game, and it's a very niche scratching game. Yeah, this is one of those games where I feel like it's gonna be, if you like Power Rangers, you're gonna enjoy this one, but otherwise you may not be. It may not be your type of cup of tea. I couldn't even get out of that. Yeah, this is what I'm mean, like... Yeah, Swap Strikes still exist online. Okay. So if you know how to use Swap Strikes, you basically can force your opponent's hand. I think it does add a bit of challenge to the rank, don't get me wrong. I think that's actually really good they did that, but still. I also like the fact they have sort of like this type of combo counter system where you can basically utilize your allies as like a similar to what was it? Dropping the Zord. Yeah, the Zord's kind of a weird cheat. That's the only thing I'm like about the Zord draw. Like, the Zord is kind of weird. I'm not a huge fan of the Zord because I think the Zord's kind of like iffy. Like, it's kind of broken with setup. Yeah, I will say the when you do get counter combo though, or cornered, I do think the AI tends to play around a little bit too much with that. I'm also not huge. I also don't mind the swap strike too much. Again, I didn't watch a lot of Power Rangers growing up, and a lot of these are going to be very rare if I do know them. I know Vanilla Rangers because my friend was a big one. Yeah, I will agree. I will agree with you on that one. Draw. It has good fighting mechanics, and it has a very solid, a very good curve for pro gamers. But I think if you're, I think it kind of hurts casual because of that. Like, if you know how certain combo teams work in online, you basically can easily climb the ranked tower to get to master very easily. Yeah, that is completely true. That is completely true, Draw. It lacks a casual draw. That is its biggest issue. If it had more of a casual draw to it, I could probably say yes. More to it than anything else. If there's anything I will say this game has, though, the fight mechanics are spot on. They're very close and touchy. They fit well into the game. They're not out of place. Sometimes the mechanics are a little too... The combo mechanics could be a little too simple for certain characters, and I kind of wish that they could change that up a bit. But otherwise, I think mechanic-wise, I think this game is spot on. But if you're if you're a casual player, you're not going to stick with the game very long. There's not a lot of casual there to make the game stick. And I think that's the game's biggest flaw. If it built up on that casual player base a little bit, I could see it working, but it doesn't work for casuals. And that's the biggest shame, because I think the game itself is good. It works for a fighting game. That and the fact that it's the Power Rangers, which is a very known franchise, it has a premise for it. So for me, I mean, I think I wouldn't come back to this game after a certain time point, because other fighting games would be more of an attentive meat for me personally. Like, I also think that this game also allows for a lot of button spamming. A little bit, and I'll be honest, I'm a button spammer when it comes to certain fighting games, especially if I'm learning a character at first. I'm going to try and figure my combos out through that type of setup, and I think that works if you're a learner, but I think you're being rewarded for button spamming inside of like ranked mode doesn't work as well. That's the thing. I think I brought this up the last time I played this as like a look on the channel draw. Was I felt like they finally. I think the game itself is a pretty solid setup. And the blessing with the last update draw was they added voices. In the previous version, before update 1, there was no voice acting for the game, other than like KO and like that stuff. They didn't have that. Now they have it. Now they have that. And I think that adds a lot of flavor to the game. But again, I think there's some audio issues too. In certain situations, I could barely hear, say, a certain Power Ranger talking when I could hear perfectly clear on other times. So it feels like there's just this weird imbalance between the sound that I think kind of throws the game off. So really, again, I really think it boils down to: Are you going to be a professional? Do you want to be a pro gamer with this? And this is a game you may want to look into. But at the same time, casual Power Ranger fans may like this game, even as a one-time pickup for the story. Maybe a little bit of a trophy hunt if you want to try and do non-ranked trophies, because I feel, again, like we were talking, rank's gonna be professional specifically, and which is kind of a shame because I think it has good merit to it. But like I said, I've got a big list of notes I've been taking down the entire time I've been playing this, to some degree, that I'm going to be discussing at the end of the video, at the end of the 2 hours, to kind of give a general overall feel of the game, what I think and how I would score it based on all that situation. And I definitely think I'll have some interesting counter notes to talk about at that point. The arcade mode's still pretty much the same as it was to my knowledge. It's arcade mode. It's not going to be anything different. It's basically 8 rounds plus the fight with Draken. With the Power Ranger choice receiving their ending. Really, you're not going to get anything different. Oh my, what? Oh my god, what? What the heck? Troll! What is this? What is this blasphemy? Yeah! If you saw my face right now when I have a webcam, you would be... Yeah, you're about right on that one, Droll. Pro whooping my ass is indeed the point of fact right now. You know what? For a right, I deserve it. I ultimately deserve this, I have a feeling. It... Okay. Well then. Well, people, now you see what I'm talking about, but what we're talking about by the pro situation. That was on level 388 playing this game against me. And they clearly haven't played this game for a while, because if you noticed, I just literally got my behind him to me. Wait. Oh my gosh, Droll. That's a good... Oh my gosh. Let's give this one more shot. See what happens. Even though I have a really bad feeling. Okay. This one isn't nearly as terrible. It's all 24. So the levels are varied at least. Good, okay, so they are trying to at least swap up the combos on me. At least I appreciate that. But they're being very backwards heavy, which I'm kind of concerned about. Yeah. Yeah, the Twitch panels need an update. We know, Droll. We have to actually sit down and get them updated. Like, this is like one of those games I probably may never come back to after this, just because... Yeah, I will actually sit down with Alex and we'll get those updated. We need to do that anyway one day. Ow. Alright, buddy. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Yeah, if this was the... Yeah, I know. It's been noted inside the, it's been noted inside the stream team for a little bit to... Sure, remove the Storm Rider stuff for now. I will get with Alex to have to get those removed, to get those updated and removed, though. But yeah, so I probably should aim for about 2 hours on this just to be kind of fair for the video review purpose, because the most of the time I did this with story. And honestly, the story, while it's good, it's not like... It's like nothing with, I will give this game one credit though, Draw, that I wasn't thinking about at one point. And that is that when I look at this game, I think the art style is extremely well done. I think they nail the Power Ranger aesthetic very well. Especially the story mode, like little comic sections, when they're going to like when they're doing voiced over comic sections, it does what it's supposed to do. It sells the player on what's going on, and you feel the entirety of. You actually feel like the game is well put together, and I appreciate that. Like a lot of games don't think about that, and they clearly made that a forefront with the story mode to make the story elements and the visuals tie in very effectively. I will say, however, the soundtrack needs some work. The biggest complaint I have is that there's not a variety with this game's soundtrack. Does it help pump up a fight? Oh yeah, for sure. Just not... How do I put this? It's just not enough of a difference in the soundtrack that I can say it would be something I could recommend just for the music alone as a fighting game. And I definitely wish they would do more with it. I do like the fact, though, that they made it clear with this update, though, which is the biggest thing I want to point out. They actually got the actors from the show to come back and voice their respective Rangers. So, Tommy, Lee, all those characters from the old Power Rangers came back to voice their characters within from the show in the game with their lines. And I feel that's some pretty hardcore dedication from the developer. Like, you really have to step out of the box to grab that. So, that's another thing I think is really solid about this game, is it steps up to the plate and it gives the player a reason, especially if you're an old school Ranger fan, to really come back and play this game. It feels like it's a legitimate fighting game within the Rangers universe. Now, they haven't said anything about any type of DLC, and I'm not really sure how that's going to play out in the future for this. From what I can tell, I'm hoping that if they do DLC, that it's specifically characters that maybe wouldn't show up in this universe, or a character that maybe was specific, or a specific costume. Yeah, it'd be the cheap way to do DLC, but it would at least make more sense because all these characters they're adding in are free. They're not forcing the player to buy a DLC update 1. DLC 1 is an example to get, you know, Dragon Armor Trinity, Udona, and Cenozoic Blue Ranger. You have opportunity to play the game and earn and just unlock them automatically just by updating the game. So you're not really forcing yourself to basically you're not being forced to pay for something you don't want to pay for. And I think that's kind of important. So, you know what? Kudos to the developer on that. I really think that's pretty nice. And add the fact it's a Unity Engine game, which is pretty solid, and Unity Engine has some bugs in it. I'm pretty happy with the way Unity Engine worked with this. Let's do, I guess, a little bit of arcade, maybe. I want to at least get about a solid 2 hours of like footage I can talk about. That way I have a full notation pattern that I can talk about everything. Cat Ranger. Dragon Trinity's a little slow for my taste. I like Dragon Trinity, if only because I think Dragon Trinity has power behind it. Similar to how Magna Defender has power behind their attacks. But they're a slower character. I even like how if you go to the arcade mode and you press triangle, you get backstory behind these characters. Like, this is awesome. I love that the bios actually tell you little tidbits about this. Kim holding his own Power Rangers. Yeah, makes sense. Zordon, the original Red Ranger. Cranston. I like that. Mystical Force Ranger. When my characters were attacked by Dragon, a powerful Zord. Fashioning the Zord into a powerful suit of enhanced armor. Alright, so Trini's. So Dragon Armor Trini essentially isn't really. Is a ranger, but it's more of a ranger that took the. That used the remains of the Black Dragon Zord and built a suit of armor out of it. That is interesting. I do think that's kind of cool in terms of like background story. That is interesting, though. So I will say this game still has some load time issues, though. For me, at least. Maybe it's because I'm using a Generation 1 PS4, but yeah, like, this is the reason I really I like Cat, because Cat has some really good combo potential off of almost all of her moves. And a lot of Cat's moves are pretty predictable. If you're in a ranked situation, you're going to get, and you get too predictable, you will eventually fall, and that is true. So that is something I will say. You do have to be careful of with this game. Huh. Alright, this doesn't want to die. Now you're dead, buddy. Woo! Yeah, see, there's some pretty good combos you could do with Cat, though. Like, Cat, I look at characters, I look at them based on, like, how much fun are they? And I like Cat's combo potential. Cat stands up for me. KO. Udona. Gotta be careful, Udona has frost magic. And again, it's an AI Udona, which is kind of probably more annoying than anything else, but you know. Yeah, I find you the AI even an inch in this game with no like AI control. It's kind of like you just either get your butt beat or you beat them. It's really tough to be counter otherwise. And I mean, I'm not going to be like holding the professional scene thing into counterance here. But yeah, I feel like casually, if you if you don't know Power Rangers at all, you're not gonna play this game at all. And I mean, if you're a Power Ranger fan, if you're a fighting game player, you'll like this. But it's kind of like a weird skepticism on that. KO. I mean, everything animates well, gameplay's pretty decently, minus the load times, I think could be improved, but I think it's more of the hardware. One thing I don't like about using Cat against Gaia is because Gaia has the ranged attacks alongside melee, very unpredictable. So you really kind of have to consider how you play that. Alright, no one's used their summon yet, so that's a good thing. Right, and now I'm the dragon, okay. Dragon Zord's kind of hard to combo with, though. Like, this particular character for me is more if you can get combos with it, I would be impressed. Because the comboing ability with this character seems like it would be really good, especially with some of the specials. But the problem there's sort of the problem. Yes, even the call-ins now have a vocal, which is great. I love that. Even the call-ins have a vocal. That's even better. It's like, that's great. Okay. Yeah, see, the vocals for me... See, the only thing I'm not happy about is, like, some of the voice lines either go really soft when they don't need to, or they just don't... So, yeah, I've got a bunch of notes I gotta talk about after this, because I want to kind of lay down my thoughts and make it clear what my final, I guess my final opinion is on this. Because I'm not really, because I don't really think... And everybody has their own, and the team building combinations in this game are pretty high. I mean, if there's a ladder tier for this game, which I didn't look... Yeah, see, like, that's what I'm talking about. If you can combo with this thing, the combo potential is freaking outrageously crazy. Like, combo potential with this game is not, for certain characters, is crazy good. And that's the nice thing about this, is that it feels good. To play certain characters, because the combo potential is there if you can make it work. Ah, fighting our cat. Okay, it's a cat fight, you might say. Cat fight. I love that. Nah, bad joke. Shouldn't have made that. Alright, let's let summon their dude. Some kind of tough. No, I lost cat. Oh no. Oh well. I got Udona. So that'll work out. Udona's kind of weird to combo with, though. So all I'm going to say is, like, I think Udona could be good if you can get the combos off and use them for special frost magic. But you have to learn those magic combos. I do like the fact that yes. Yes, you are here. Now you're gonna die. Yeah, see, they have like a power leap, which is interesting. Most characters don't have that. Now. And done. Alright, there we go. Victory! Thankfully, these arcade modes definitely seem to be a little shorter. There used to be 8 challenges. Maybe there is still 8. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I didn't look at the old... Oh no, it's these things again. Oh, so I need a swap strike. Huh, interesting. So I guess swap strikes work on both ways, which is interesting. They're part of everyone's kit. Now, mind you, I will say this. I do think this is probably one of the better fighting games of the modern era, at least for me. And this is coming from someone who's played Mortal Kombat 11 like a lot. Like, I play MK11 at least once a day. Because I really enjoy MK11 a lot. I'm not good at ranked, which I don't do ranked on MK, but I do enjoy... And yeah, this is the thing I was worried about, was this. And done. Alright, good on. You're dead. Let's do it cat style. I didn't even like the fact that she's a temporary. So really, she isn't really a ranger in that sense, but she does have that same ranger feel to her. I also like that if you pay attention to the background of this scene, you can see various artifacts in Power Ranger timelines. Like, there's the red saber from the red sword from Jason Lee, I believe it is. But then again, I don't know all my artifacts because I don't watch the series at all. I just know certain ones because my friend was a big my friend was a big watcher of the show when I was a kid, and so he actually had a bunch of them. And so I remember some of them to a degree. Yeah, see, all he has to do is just drop that bomb on me with this type of character, and he wins. Trying to swap back out, but okay, it didn't work. Oh well, we tried. Megazord, go! And there's the combo I'm talking about. That 18 streak combo is just stupidly good if you can use it right. And final fight, maybe? Yep, final fight. I think. Yeah, if he's got 4 health bars, I'm going to say his final fight. Wait, he can go invisible? Probably something that gets explained in the story mode, but I mean, again, since I'm not gonna finish it, at least on stream. The other thing about Cat I actually really worry about is Cat's kind of a meleeer with a lot of air combos. So most anti-air characters will kind of get you. But if you can utilize them well enough, it works. Come on. Get me out of the corner, dude. Do not be that cheap. I know some of the AI tends to be a little bit on the cheap side, but maybe that's because, again, the AI has no real control. I think it's kind of the problem. Yeah, see, I couldn't... If I could have supered... Alright, somehow I did it. It works. Was this the 8th battle? Which there may be. Into the litter box you go. That's funny. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go onto the BRB screen to do a quick thought discussion on some of the review stuff for this, and I'll be back here within hopefully about 2 minutes, maybe 3, to just discuss what my kind of findings are for the game and what I personally think about the game. So hang tight, guys. I'll be back within about 2-3 minutes, and when I get back, we will kind of do final discussion about Power Rangers Battle for the Grid and all that type of stuff. So hang tight. Alright, thank you guys for your patience. I am back. Let me go ahead and just do final discussion talk about the game with you guys. You know, if you guys have anything you want to say after as I'm talking, I would love to discuss it, obviously. So please know I'm open-minded and I do like to discuss certain things about it. So let's start with like the pros of this game. What makes this game good? Simple control style, very simple combos, easy to pick up for new players. However, I will say that it does take a little bit of more approach towards the professional fighting game scene, which does make it a little less pick up for casuals. So it is. So I think if the game does pick up steam, it's going to pick up more on a professional, like fighting game level than more of a casual pick up and play level. Visually, the game is really nice. I think the art style suits the idea of Power Ranger very, very well, and I think the cartoon, like the little cartoon blocky style used in the story, definitely sets it up. The story is okay. Maybe because I don't know much about Power Rangers and don't know much about Power Ranger lore is why maybe I don't feel the story is very mind grabbing. It doesn't grab at me saying, oh, you know, now I have to see how blank beats blank. I feel like I could do without it. It is a good time burner, maybe for about 2 hours, because I'd say maybe at 2 hours at best. Very short story. If they do more with it, I can see maybe it could be a little more worth the time. Let's see. I do soundtrack. I wish they'd do more with it. I'm glad they finally added voiceovers to the game with the Power Ranger, with all the characters revising their roles. I think that was the smartest thing they could have done. Head out straight. I think that was a brilliant thing for them to do. My only problem with it is, though, there's not enough soundtracks in this game to make this game memorable. Like, I've heard this song so many times while sitting on the screen in the fighting song so many times that it's kind of more of an annoyance than anything else. I would have loved even like some of the Power Ranger themes. Like maybe if you're in a battle with Tommy versus Jason Lee, the game could play like the original like Power Rangers fighting theme from the TV show, because they clearly have the ability to use the old school Power Rangers through permission. I wouldn't see why they couldn't use the soundtracks or even part of certain songs as even just small clips. That would be a very interesting thing they could do, and I would love to see that. Let's see. Gameplay. Playstyles, I think there's a variety. I think if you're looking for a variety fighting game, you're gonna find it here. There's a lot of different playstyles. There's more rush down, in your face. There's ranged. There's more ranged keep away. You have a variety of playstyles, so I think you can find a character that works for you. Build a team around that character for defense, and turn one character into sort of like your main pick, with two that are your side picks that you know you can play if they go down in the fight. But you won't be completely dead in the water at that point. I think that really helps the game, stands out. Let's see. I think now we'll top to what I think are the cons. Cons, it's a professional game. As a casual player, you may find some interest in it for a few hours, but there's nothing going to hold your attention after that, and that is unfortunate, because the game itself is good. It's not great by any means. It's a good game. again, one soundtrack throughout. There's a very limited soundtrack. I really just don't like that. I wish there was more of a soundtrack here, and I wish they would extend on that. I think probably one of my biggest cons of this game is going to be the ranked mode, because as we saw earlier when I was playing the ranked mode, the first human person I got put against was a level 388 who had played the game for some time. I mean, there's no real counterbalance system in ranked to kind of set the player up with the proper opponent, and I think that's kind of an issue. I wish that maybe there was a better way to set that up for players, because I feel like that kind of hurts the ranked player base. But again, that's kind of a mind over matter situation. Sometimes you think you can overcome, sometimes you can't. It just depends on the person. And just a longer story, or a more interesting story. I think if they would have done more with the story, it probably would have been better. Or done more unique things to the story, it would have been better. But they really did. But they haven't. Maybe they'll extend it with another update and add new characters. I think that'd be nice. I also want them to extend into other series in the Power Ranger universe and pull away from the original vanilla Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because a lot of this character base is based on vanilla Power Rangers. And I'm not saying vanilla Power Rangers isn't a good base start, but when your options for are literally something along the lines of Cat Mannix, Gaia Morin, Magna Defender, Udana, and Cenozoic Blue as alternates to everyone else being from the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I would love just more variety. I think if you gave me more variety in the characters, add some more unique playstyles, I'd be way all over this. That said, overall, if I had to give the game a rating today, based off of what I've experienced with my original look, and then this follow-up kind of video review, I would give it a very solid 7.5. I think the improvements they did with the first update were good. I think if they keep those improvements going that way, it'll be even better. But the thing again boils down to where's the game aimed towards? And in the end of the day, it's aimed towards professionals. Professional gamers, professional fighting game players who are going to want to work on their skill. And as a casual player, that kind of falls away from me very quickly. Do I feel like you couldn't fix it and make it more towards casual? Oh, you could. But for right now, I just don't see it. And I think reality is that's going to be the biggest issue. Add some new music, make some variety there, maybe change the story mode a little bit to make it a little more of a to give it a little more optimization, maybe make it a little bit longer, add some content to it, and exchange a couple things around, maybe do some things that make it more sense. And I think this game could work brilliantly well. And I really think this is a fighting game that if you like Power Rangers and you want to play it, you've got it. It works. However, if you're going to be more casual and you just want to check it out because it looks like a good casual pickup fighting game, maybe try it before you buy it. Find someone who has it, play it, and then see if it's something that catches your eye. Because it's not one of those games that's going to be a casual experience all the way through. And I think that that is something you just have to really know going forward. Anyway, so that is my opinion on. That is the end of the video review for Power Rangers Battle for the Grid. I do think the game itself is a good experience. I think it could be borderline great, and I think it has the makings. It's just not